What if the love of your life didn't speak your language, didn't share your skin, but understood your soul? This is the story of Chioma and Jisoo, a love so pure it challenged everything. Some dreams feel far-fetched, like distant stars, but not for Chioma. With a heart full of passion for Korean dramas and a spirit that never gave up, she transformed her wildest dream into her living reality. Once just a girl, dreaming of another world, her dreams took flight the moment she chased them with boldness. Today, she lives a life that once played only in her imagination. So sit back, relax, and let Chioma take you through the inspiring tale of how she turned her maybe into I did it. Chioma, a determined and brilliant Nigerian teenager, had long been fascinated by South Korea. She didn't just want to visit, she dreamed of studying there, soaking in the culture, mastering the language, and tasting the cuisine. Korean dramas were her haven, and K-pop fueled her daily life. She would spend hours watching her favorite series, practicing Hangul online, and repeating Korean phrases whenever she could. Only Kemi, her closest friend, knew how deep her obsession went. Every time they met, Chioma would test out her Korean on Kemi and declare, "One day, I'll go to Korea and study there." But Kemi would chuckle and roll her eyes. "Be realistic, Chioma. You're just dreaming." Chioma's room looked like a shrine to Korean culture. Drama posters covered her walls, her shelves were packed with language books, and she even called her parents Oma and Appa at times, giggling when they looked confused. Then one day, her miracle came. She received an email from a prestigious international exchange program. She had been awarded a full scholarship to study in South Korea. Her eyes widened, heart racing as she reread the message. This was it. All her hard work had paid off. While others saw it as just another opportunity, Chioma saw it as divine alignment. Her parents, though shocked, were filled with pride. They celebrated her win with a small, joyful gathering, their smiles brighter than any cake. Soon, Chioma was packed and on her way. Her parents hugged her tightly at the airport, whispering prayers and sending her off with courage. When she arrived in South Korea, she was greeted by her host family, Mr. and Mrs. Park, warm and welcoming. They had a son named Jisoo, who was tall, handsome, and quietly magnetic. At school, he was admired for his looks, but remained distant and introverted. When Chioma first saw him, her heart skipped. "He looks just like a K-drama oppa," she whispered to herself, starstruck. She started school the very next day, excited to step into her new chapter. She was introduced to her class and assigned a seat beside a girl named Sora. Sora looked normal on the surface, but Chioma soon discovered she was the ringleader of a feared group of bullies. With her sidekicks Gina and Nari, Sora often targeted the quieter students. Sora had known Jisoo since they were kids and had always harbored a one-sided love for him. Though he never reciprocated, she was fiercely possessive, determined to keep other girls away. So when she found out that Chioma was living under the same roof as Jisoo, rage burned in her. The next morning, Sora cornered Chioma in the hallway, grabbing her wrist. "Stay away from my oppa," she spat, her eyes narrowed. "Why are you even staying in his house?" Chioma, startled, didn't know what to say. Sora and her gang stormed off, leaving her shaken. That evening, Chioma told Jisoo what happened. "Are you dating Sora?" she asked quietly. He sighed. "No, we were childhood friends, nothing more." Chioma then explained the bullying, hoping for support. But Jisoo simply said, "That's your business. Be careful. Sora's not someone to cross." Chioma stared at him. Hurt. "So you're going to let her treat me like this because you're friends?" He didn't respond. Furious, Chioma stormed into her room and slammed the door. Her heart ached. She had imagined him defending her, like in the dramas, but reality didn't follow scripts. Still, she wasn't going to let this ruin her time in Korea. She had worked too hard for this. Chioma explored Seoul on weekends, tasted spicy kimchi stew, strolled along the Han River, and visited the breathtaking Gyeongbokgung Palace. Even though she hadn't found friends yet, she promised herself she would make her stay unforgettable. Then came a turning point. Their teacher announced a class trip to an art gallery. The whole class buzzed with excitement, but Chioma felt left out. She boarded the bus alone, took a seat, and pulled out her headphones. But just as she drifted into thought, a soft voice spoke beside her. "Hi, I'm Hejin. Is this seat taken?" Chioma looked up to see a girl with a warm smile. No, please, she replied gratefully. As the bus moved along, they talked. Chioma shared stories of Nigeria, its color, music, food, and traditions. For the first time, she felt a connection forming. Haejin listened intently, her eyes wide with excitement as Chioma spoke passionately about her homeland. "I visited many places," Haejin admitted with a sparkle in her voice, "but I've never been to Africa." "Look, I'd love to see it one day." "You should definitely visit," Chioma replied warmly. "You'd fall in love with the colors, the music, the food, everything." Meanwhile, in the back of the bus, Jisoo was surrounded by a group of giggling girls, all trying to capture his attention. Chioma glanced briefly in his direction, but quickly turned her gaze back to the window. "Why should I even care?" she told herself. At the art gallery, Chioma and Haejin strolled side by side, their conversation flowing naturally as they admired paintings and sculptures. They talked about cultural differences, and Haejin remained fascinated by everything Chioma shared about Nigeria. For the first time since arriving, Chioma felt truly connected with someone. From across the room, Jisoo observed them, his expression unreadable. He didn't say a word, just watched quietly. On the return trip, Chioma and Haejin sat together again, but this time, something unexpected happened. Jisoo approached them. "Haejin," he said, his tone unusually soft, "can we switch seats?" Haejin looked from him to Chioma, then shrugged with a small smile and moved. Jisoo took the vacant seat beside Chioma. "Why didn't you talk to me the whole time?" he asked. Chioma raised her eyebrows, irritated. "Weren't you busy with your fan club at the back?" He smirked. "Are you jealous?" Her cheeks flushed. "Me? Jealous of you? That's hilarious." She turned up her music, trying to ignore him, but Jisoo leaned over again and gently pulled down her headset. "You're not fooling anyone," he teased. "I'm not jealous," Chioma grumbled, looking away. "If you say so," Jisoo said with a satisfied grin. The following day, Mrs. Park handed a small bag of homemade cookies to Jisoo. "Give these to Chioma. I think she'll like them." Chioma was touched by the sweet gesture. But before she could even open the package, Sora appeared. She grabbed Chioma's wrist and yanked her into the hallway. "Don't think for a second that staying in Jisoo's house means anything," Sora hissed. "You're just a guest. Don't get any funny ideas." Chioma held back her anger, her fists trembling at her sides. Just then, Jisoo walked past. He saw what was happening. He looked right at them, but he kept walking. Chioma's chest tightened with disappointment. So that's it? He's just going to ignore this? Hurt and furious, she returned to the classroom without a word. From that moment on, she avoided Jisoo at school. His mixed signals left her confused. At home, he was sometimes kind, but at school, it felt like she didn't exist. Later that night, just as she was about to drift off, there was a soft knock on her door. It creaked open, and Jisoo stepped in. "Chioma," he said gently, "I'm going to talk to Sora. She won't bother you again." Chioma blinked in surprise. "You mean that?" He nodded. "Trust me." After he left, Chioma stared at the closed door, her heart racing. What changed? She wondered, a faint smile tugging at her lips. The next day, the classroom buzzed with excitement as their classmate Woojin announced a special party at his place. "It's a Pepero game night," he grinned. Chioma wasn't familiar with the game, but Haejin explained with a wink, "You and your partner bite opposite ends of a Pepero stick until you're almost kissing. It's fun." "I don't know." Chioma hesitated. "Oh, come on," Haejin nudged. "You might even get paired with Jisoo." Chioma blushed. "Fine, let's go." That evening, Chioma nervously asked Jisoo if he was going. He gave a small nod. "Yeah, see you there." At the party, students paired up randomly for the game. To Chioma's dismay, Jisoo was matched with Sora. Her stomach twisted uncomfortably. "It's just a game," Haejin whispered. "I know," Chioma said, forcing a smile. But before the game could even begin, Chioma noticed something. A stain had appeared on her dress. Panic crept in. Just then, Jisoo moved swiftly, slipping off his jacket and wrapping it around her waist. Without a word, he gently took her hand and led her outside. Sora's face darkened with rage. Outside, Chioma's face was burning with embarrassment. "You didn't have to." "Hey," Jisoo interrupted. "Don't be embarrassed. It happens. It's completely normal." His reassuring words wrapped around her like a blanket. "Maybe he's not as cold as I thought." The next day, Chioma and Haejin watched from the sidelines during basketball practice. "You've been staring," Haejin teased. "I have not," Chioma huffed. Sure, sir, Heijin giggled. During a break, Jisoo walked over and took the water bottle from Chioma's hands, taking a drink without asking. Sora, still seething from the previous night, grabbed a basketball and hurled it in Chioma's direction. In a flash, Jisoo caught the ball midair. He turned to Sora, his gaze sharp and serious. "This is your last warning," he said coolly. "Try that again, and you'll regret it." Sora, humiliated, stormed off the court. Jisoo turned back to Chioma. "Wait for me after practice. We'll walk home together." Chioma nodded, her heart pounding. As they walked, she found herself stealing glances at him. "Are you falling for me already?" Jisoo teased. "Not a chance," Chioma said quickly, but her cheeks betrayed her. As they continued down the path, Chioma realized something. Jisoo wasn't just the distant, untouchable boy she had imagined. He was warm, surprising, and starting to mean more to her than she was ready to admit. A few days later, the school was buzzing with excitement. A large poster on the bulletin board announced prom night. Students were already pairing up and planning their outfits. Sora, determined to win back Jisoo's attention, walked confidently up to him during lunch. "So," she purred, "ready to be my date for prom?" Jisoo looked at her calmly. "Sorry, Sora, I already have someone else in mind." Sora's smile vanished. "What? I've made my choice," he said, firm and clear. Without another word, she turned and stormed away, leaving Jisoo unbothered, his mind clearly on someone else. Meanwhile, Chioma had been wrestling with her feelings for Jisoo. She admired him deeply, but admitting it aloud was another matter entirely. After much inner turmoil, she finally mustered the courage to speak with him after school. "Jisoo," she called softly, her voice trembling slightly as her heart pounded. "Would you maybe want to be my prom partner?" Jisoo let out a small sigh and scratched the back of his head. "Proms aren't really my thing," he said, his tone casual. Chioma's face fell, her courage faltering. She was about to retreat, embarrassed, when his next words stopped her. "But I'll go if it's with you." Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Really?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He nodded, his lips twitching into a smile. "Yeah." Unable to contain her excitement, Chioma darted off to find Heijin. "We need to go shopping right now," she squealed. That weekend, the two friends strolled through boutiques, laughing and trying on dresses. Heijin chose an elegant navy gown that hugged her silhouette perfectly. Chioma, however, found a soft pink dress that sparkled when the light kissed it. "I hope Jisoo likes it," she murmured, blushing at the thought of him seeing her in it. As prom night drew closer, anticipation buzzed in the air. Everyone was preparing for the special evening that promised joy, music, and memories. When the big night finally arrived, the school gym had been magically transformed into a glowing ballroom. Golden fairy lights crisscrossed the ceiling like stars, and a massive chandelier bathed the dance floor in a gentle glow. Students arrived in waves, dressed to impress, their laughter mingling with soft music. Chioma stood before her mirror, adjusting her gown one last time. Her pink dress shimmered like stardust, and her hair fell in soft waves over her shoulders. Her makeup was subtle, yet it brought out her natural beauty. "You look like a dream," Heijin said with a wink, admiring her friend. Chioma smiled nervously. "Do you think Jisoo will like it?" "He's going to be stunned," Heijin assured her. Together, they stepped into the transformed venue. As Chioma entered, heads turned. Whispers rippled across the room, and envious glances followed her path. But her eyes searched for just one person, Jisoo. He stood near the refreshment table, dressed sharply in a tailored black suit. When he looked up and saw her, time seemed to stop. His confident demeanor cracked as his breath caught in his throat. His heart pounded, and for a moment, all he could do was stare. Chioma walked up slowly and smiled. "Do I look all right?" she asked shyly. "You look incredible," Jisoo finally managed. Before she could respond, the music shifted to a slow, romantic tune. Jisoo extended his hand, his expression unreadable. "Dance with me?" Chioma hesitated briefly before slipping her hand into his. He guided her to the center of the dance floor and gently placed his hand on her waist. As they swayed to the soft rhythm, the world around them faded. Their eyes locked, and everything else ceased to matter. Then Jisoo spoke, his voice low but full of emotion. "Chioma, I really like you," he confessed. "Since the day you came here, something in me has changed. You make me want to be better. You make me feel whole." Chioma's heart fluttered, and she could barely find her voice. Jisoo. But he continued, determined. I don't want to pretend anymore. Can we be together? For real? The music, the murmurs, the lights, all blurred around her. In that moment, only his words mattered. She smiled softly and nodded. Yes, Jisoo, I like you too. Relief and happiness washed over his face as he pulled her into a warm embrace. The crowd around them erupted into cheers, but all they could hear was the silent rhythm of two hearts finally beating in sync. And in that dance, under the soft chandelier light, something beautiful began. Chioma and Jisoo had officially become a couple, stepping into a new season of joy and discovery together. A few days later, Mr. and Mrs. Park returned from their trip just in time to celebrate Jisoo's birthday. The house came alive with laughter, the air thick with the aroma of simmering delicacies, kimchi stew, bulgogi, and Chioma's favorite, spicy tteokbokki. Family and friends filled the space with cheerful chatter as warm lights danced across the walls. In the middle of the celebration, Chioma approached Jisoo with a small, neatly wrapped gift. Happy birthday, Jisoo, she said softly, her voice wrapped in warmth. Jisoo smiled as he took the gift, touched by her gesture. Thank you, Chioma. With care, he unwrapped it to reveal a sleek silver bracelet, his initials elegantly engraved into the metal. Chioma bit her lower lip nervously. I wanted to give you something meaningful. Jisoo gazed at the bracelet before sliding it onto his wrist with tender reverence. Then he looked up at her, eyes gleaming with affection. I love it. Thank you, Chioma. Her heart skipped, a bloom of happiness unfolding inside her. After the party, Jisoo leaned in with a mischievous grin. Come with me. I've got somewhere special to take you. Intrigued, Chioma followed him outside. They hopped on his motorcycle, weaving through Seoul's dazzling night streets, laughter echoing above the engine's hum. Their first stop was a cozy karaoke room where they sang with joyful abandon. They laughed at each other's off-key notes, their hearts sinking with each beat. Next, they stormed a bustling arcade. Chioma surprised herself and Jisoo by beating him in a racing game. You've been hiding your pro skills, haven't you? He teased. Maybe I just got lucky, she giggled. They wandered through the city, indulging in street food, snapping goofy selfies, and stealing glances lit by neon lights. At one point, Jisoo turned to her, his voice full of wonder. This is the best birthday I've ever had, Chioma beamed. I'm glad. As they walked hand in hand, the city lights flickering in their eyes, Chioma felt a quiet certainty settle in her chest. This was a night they'd never forget. But as the days slipped by, the glow of prom and Jisoo's birthday faded, and a new weight crept into Chioma's heart. Graduation loomed. While her friends spoke excitedly about university plans and travels, she felt an ache she couldn't ignore. She had come to love Korea, the culture, the people, the rhythm of life. It had become home in a way she never expected. The thought of leaving filled her with quiet sorrow. One quiet evening, she sat in the living room, phone in hand, lost in thought. The laughter in the house felt far away. Mrs. Park noticed. She sat beside her, gently placing a hand on Chioma's. Is everything all right, dear? Chioma hesitated, then sighed. I don't want to leave Korea. I've built something here. A future, dreams I never imagined. Park nodded with understanding. Then you should tell your parents. Let them see your heart. That night, Chioma made a decision. With trembling fingers, she dialed her parents back in Nigeria. As their faces lit up her screen, a swell of emotion surged in her chest. My daughter, her mother smiled. You look worried. What's going on? Chioma gathered courage. Mom, Dad, I want to stay in Korea after graduation. I want to go to university here. Her parents exchanged a glance. Her father's brow furrowed slightly. Chioma, we sent you there for high school. You were always meant to return. I know, she replied, voice steady, but I've found something here. I've researched universities. I'll work part-time. I'll be responsible. There was a pause. Her father sighed. You sound serious about this. Then her mother spoke, her tone softening. If this is truly your heart's desire, we won't stop you. Chioma gasped, eyes wide. Really? Her father nodded. You're old enough to decide your future. We trust you. Tears brimmed in her eyes. Thank you. Thank you so much. She rushed to tell Haejin and Jisoo. The moment Jisoo heard the news, his face lit up. You're really staying? Yes. Chioma laughed, heart bursting. Jisoo exhaled, a smile tugging at his lips. That's the best news I've heard all day. In the days that followed, Chioma glowed with happiness. She walked the school halls with newfound ease, like the fear of goodbyes replaced by anticipation of the journey ahead. During lunch, Haejin grabbed her hands excitedly. "I still can't believe it. You're really staying." Chioma grinned. "Me neither. It still feels like a dream." Jisoo, who had been quietly listening, finally spoke. "It wouldn't have been the same without you." Graduation approached swiftly. The trio savored every last moment together, studying, reminiscing, taking pictures in their uniforms. Then, the big day arrived. The school grounds bloomed with banners, caps, and gowns. As Chioma stepped across the stage to receive her diploma, she spotted Mr. and Mrs. Park clapping proudly, tears shining in Mrs. Park's eyes. After the ceremony, friends hugged, laughed, and posed for endless pictures. Haejin pouted playfully. "No more sneaking snacks into class or cramming last minute," Chioma chuckled. "No more rules, just new beginnings." Jisoo grinned. "Let's celebrate. I know a place." That evening, they gathered at a karaoke and game center. Bright lights shimmered across the walls as they belted out songs, played dance games, and devoured spicy skewers from a nearby vendor. When it was Chioma's turn to sing, she chose a tender ballad. Her voice trembled with emotion, and Jisoo watched, heart swelling. Later, he took her aside. They stood near the banks of the Han River, the water mirroring the stars. "I'm so glad you stayed," he said, voice hushed. "Me too," she replied. He took a breath. "Chioma, you've changed my life in ways I can't even explain. I care about you deeply. I'll always cherish you." Chioma's eyes shimmered. She stepped into his arms. "Thank you, Jisoo, for everything." Beneath the velvet sky, with the river whispering below, they held each other close. Two hearts intertwined, ready to write the next chapter of their story in the land that had brought them together. If Chioma and Jisoo's journey moved you, let their love story live on by sharing this video. Comment, "Love has no borders," if you believe in second chances. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that touch the soul.